Welcome back. Already our player controls are looking really nice. Right now our player can move around just like in the previous project. But now, as a new addition, our player object can now rotate, turning itself towards where the mouse is. I wanted to add this rotation function because in this video I want to make it so our player object can shoot bullets. The logic is fairly simple. We aim with the mouse, creating a raycast from our main camera to our mouse position. We get the ground hit points, and then when we click, we will want to launch a bullet from our player object to where our mouse is. For that, we'll create a bullet prefab. Right now in our projects we don't have a prefab yet, but in this video we're gonna create our first prefab. Let's create a model for our bullet in our scene. It's gonna be fairly simple. We're gonna copy our player object. Let's make it tinier. Something like this. Yeah, that's good. Now let's call this bullet and then make it a prefab by dragging it into our prefabs folder. Good. Now let's go back to our player behavior scripts and get to coding. Oh, also hold on. Oh, okay. I want to check if our bullet object has a rigid body, and it does. Our bullet needs to have a collider and a rigid body. But anyway. First, we're gonna create a reference to our bullet prefab. We're gonna write public game objects and then bullets prefab. Let's first assign that. You can see that now we have a slot here, a bullet prefab slot. We're gonna drag our bullet prefab into this slot. Next, our bullet needs to travel. It will need to move. So naturally, we'll create a speed variable for our bullets, just like we did for our player object. We're gonna write private float bullet speed. Let's make it for now. Let's make it 15. We can change it later if you want. Now we have a method for our movement. We have another method for our rotation, and now we need to create a third method for our shooting. Private void handle shooting. Then, just like the two others, we're gonna call this with every frame. Unlike handle movement and handle rotation, however, the codes in our handle shooting will only run if we press a certain button. In this case, it will be the left mouse button. So in our handle shooting method, we'll write if input get mouse button 0. 0 is for the left mouse button. Then again we're gonna create arraycast. Arraycast from the camera, from our main camera to our mouse position. Then if it's a hit, we will create the vector 3 target. But this time it won't be for rotating, but instead it will be for shooting. So to make it clear, let's call our vector 3 shoot direction, or shoot dir, that's better. But now, instead of rotating, we're gonna shoot a bullet. For that, I want to create a separate method for shooting, the shooting itself. Let's call it shoot a bullet. But this time we want to make it so this method needs a variable to be run. So if we call this method right now shoot a bullet, we need to give it a direction. And as you can see, Visual Studio is already seeing what I'm trying to do. We'll give our shoot a bullet method or shoot direction. That is good so far. Now that our shoot a bullet method has a direction, all we need to do is make it shoot a bullet. Writing game object bullet instantiate. We're gonna give it our bullet game object, which is called bullet prefab or variable. Then we want to make it spawn at our player's exact position. So we'll write transform position. And then finally, we're gonna assign its rotation, which will be quaternion identity. We won't be making any changes to our bullet's rotation. Next, if we want to move our bullet, we need to play with the bullet's rigid body. Our bullet's prefab has a rigid body, so we need to assess that. Rigid body, rebe, bullets. There it is. Finally, all we need to do is make the bullet move, make the bullet fly. We'll do that by writing RB, inner velocity, direction, multiplied by our speed variable. Let's save and see how this works. Now I'm gonna click and spawn a bullet to see how it works. Let's try again. This happens because right now, when we spawn a bullet, our bullet will collide with our player object. All we need to do is make it so or bullets don't collide with our player object. Going back to our code, we'll write physics, ignore collision. We're gonna first get our bullets collider, not the rigid body, but the collider. And then we need the collider of our player object. Now let's see if this works. There it is. Oh, but also I forgot about this. Hold on, let me explain. We have an error here, even though our game runs smoothly. Let me explain why that happens. Earlier in the video, when we were creating our bullet prefab, we made it by copying our player character. So by copying the player character, we also copied the player controller. So that also means our bullet prefab right now, yeah, you can see that our bullet prefab has a player controller. Anyway, let's delete that. There we go. Now let's see if we're gonna get another error. Let's test again. There we go. But right now we have a little problem. It isn't a big error, but it may slow down our game and our performance. Right now, our bullets don't destroy themselves. Never. So I can just, throughout my gameplay, I can just shoot out an endless amount of bullets. And since these bullets don't destroy themselves after some time, they will, over time, crowd or hierarchy, as you can see right here. Eventually, this will lead to a drop in the performance. To prevent that, let's create a separate script for our bullets and make it so after some time, our bullet instances destroy themselves. Going back to our scripts, let's create a second script. Bullets behavior. So in our bullet behavior script, let's first give our bullets a lifetime, a lifespan. Private float lifespan. Let's make it 5 seconds. It's very simple. After 5 seconds, we'll create the bullet instance, game object, and lifespan. Going back to our editor, let's assign our bullet behavior to our bullets. Now let's test again. And there it is. After 5 seconds, the bullet instance deleted itself.